Disclaimer, I do not dislike CinemaSins, and that is not a lie. For my next Everything Wrong with CinemaSins video, I'm going to be seeing their video on Brave, and I'm uploading this video on my dad's birthday, and I chose to do this one for him because Merida is his favorite Disney princess. Enjoy the video, everyone.
44 seconds for 2 logos, which, with these 2 studios, is par for the course. Still simple as hell. Castle, lamp lettering, boom, you're done in 10 seconds if you have no ego.
Jimmy starts the video complaining about the logos cliche.
Damn, how bad was her aim?
It was this bad, my dude.
He expects me to believe that this arrow shot went that deep into the woods.
Well, yeah, that's what the movie's telling us. Also, doesn't this scene answer your previous sin and you're just going to ignore it? I am definitely not surprised.
Movie barely cracks the 3-minute mark before introducing magic. F***ing magic! The lord of all movie ex machinas. Follow me now, child, and your mother will become a bear later.
But what's the Deus Ex Machina here? There is no problem that Merida is in that is seemingly unsolvable, nor is she being saved, which is what you think a Deus Ex Machina is.
Will-o'-the-wisp, Reese's Pieces.
Jimmy says something random cliche.
You know, some say that will-o'-the-wisps lead you to your fate.
Others say they just waste your time, making you prance wildly around the forest, but everyone agrees that they exist, which is some bull.
Well, Fergus is an exception because part of his character is that he doesn't believe in magic.
Some say our destiny is tied to the
Narration.
Well, this part of the movie takes place 10 years later, so narration is needed so that we can know what's happened since what we just saw.
The story of how my father lost his leg to the demon bear Mordu became legend.
And therefore, we didn't bother to animate it or show it to you. It was too legendary.
Well, this is an animated family film, so that would have been too gruesome to show on screen. This film also wouldn't have been rated PG.
If you remove all the murder and rape, Merida is also kind of a discount Sansa star.
But unlike Sansa Stark, Merida never finds a husband in this movie.
She sure can ride a horse out of the castle into the wilderness, but can she paint with all the colors of the wind? Huh?
I get that you're just making a Pocahontas reference here, but the movie establishes that archery is the main thing that Merida is skilled at.
Horse dog.
Well, horses roll in real life, so how is this a sin?
What the hell? Is she doing a Tom Cruise impression? Or is this shit actually happening right now?
Yeah, that's actually happening right now, my dude.
Awesome. Now what? How do you even get down?
I would assume that she just simply climbed back down the rock.
He divided the kingdom among his 4 sons.
One who is obviously evil because he's in the shadows and has demon eyes.
And also because Mordu believed that as firstborn he should rule the kingdom alone. Also, pointing things out on the screen.
He followed his own path, and the kingdom fell.
Seriously? The message here is that he followed his own path, and that's the reason why Merida can't shy away from tradition?
Well, because Mordu refused to accept his dying father's wish, it resulted in his kingdom falling apart when he followed his own path. If you want to learn more, watch The Legend of Mordu short.
They're the family you worry about, but turn out to not be that important to the story after all.
All of the clans actually are important to the story because all their firstborn sons come to compete for Merida's hand in marriage.
They're the family that will eventually lose to the well-regarded Pentium clan.
Okay, so how is that a sin?
I choose archery.
The princess declared archery would be the contest of choice, so what's this f***ing log tossing going on for?
Along with 2 other games, this is just a game that someone is playing since the archery tournament hasn't started yet.
23 minutes in, and these kids have absolutely 0 good qualities. They are terrible little bastards, aren't they?
Hamish, Hubert, and Harris do have good qualities. For example, after Eleanor turns into a bear, they help Merida get her out of the castle so that she doesn't get killed by Fergus.
Also, these kids went through all this trouble to steal pastries, when there are about 100 different ways that didn't involve climbing a tent and swooping down to get them.
Are you going to tell us what they are, or are you just going to say something and expect us to go along with it?
Do you ever bother to ask what I want?
This whole script so far basically comes from the dusty blueprint of Rebel Without a Cause. Honestly, as valid as the conflict is in this movie, it just comes off worn out.
That's just what you think about the conflict in this movie, so I'll be giving this my award.
Mom feels guilty about burning Merida's bow roughly 8 seconds after angrily throwing said bow into the fireplace. This movie is moving fast, at least emotionally. Try and keep up, okay?
That's not always the case with this movie, because the scene before Eleanor turns back into a human doesn't feel like it goes fast emotionally.
Discount Stonehenge.
Except the Ring of Stones was inspired by the clannish stones, which don't look exactly like Stonehenge.
These bright blue forest lights are basically Merida's video game prompts.
Okay, so how is that a sin?
Apparently Merida has never heard the story of the Big Bad Wolf.
I really don't understand this criticism, because what does that have to do with this movie?
Merida doesn't immediately run out of the creepy woodcarving hut.
And the reason why is because she's trying to figure out why the Will-o'-the-Wisps led her to the witch's cottage.
Toy Story Pizza Planet Truck Easter egg makes no goddamn sense in this ancient reality. You couldn't find a single Pixar character whose cameo would make more sense in this time period? Like Rex? Really? A goddamn pickup truck 2,000 years before trucks were invented? I'm surprised how upset this makes me.
I don't really think that it needs to make sense because there have been other Pixar Easter eggs that also wouldn't make sense in whichever movie they're in.
Are you sure you know what you're doing?
How could she possibly know what she's doing? She stumbled into a witch hut in the forest and instantly asked for a spell. She's the very definition of no idea what she's doing.
Merida didn't instantly ask for a spell. It wasn't until after she saw the witch's broom sweeping by itself and that the crow could talk that she realized that she was a witch.
Have we here?
This witch's brew has somehow produced a perfectly cooked fruit pastry from a cauldron of bubbling acid. And I've seen enough Top Chef to know that this is some bullshit here.
And that's because you still don't get that this isn't our reality.
What was that thing about the spell? Did you say something?
For no reason, the witch completely disappears before she can remember an important thing about the spell. Doesn't she have control over whether she disappears or not?
That's actually not what happened. The movie establishes that when Merida leaves where the Will-O'-the-Wisp led her to, she's instantly transported back to the Ring of Stones.
Did Merida's mom really just turn into a bear? Because that is not the movie I signed up for. I know she said,
I want a spell to change my mum.
but that was frighteningly vague and contained no mention of bears.
And that's because Merida's bond with Eleanor is turned by pride, which was the same with Mordew and his brothers before he turned into a bear.
Also, if you're wondering why this Pixar original didn't connect with you like you thought it might, look no further than the story, which sets up this badass independent woman as its heroine and gives her nothing to do except clean up a mess she started.
Well, this movie may not have connected with you, but that doesn't mean that it didn't with others, so I'll be giving this Sin my award.
Also, and they finally did it. Disney remade Brother Bear and made it into Mother Bear.
Actually, there are differences between this movie and Brother Bear. In Brother Bear, Kenai turns into a bear as punishment from the gods for killing Koda's mother so he could avenge Sitka's death. In this movie, Eleanor turns into a bear because Merida thinks that the spell will make her change her mind about her getting married. Besides, Eleanor becomes human again at the end. Kenai remains a bear, though he briefly becomes human again at the end of Brother Bear.
The witch is to blame.
But actually, no.
Which is exactly the point, so how is this a sin?
The idea that a bear growl can be made this way, and a chicken on a stick even comes close to looking like the shadow of a bear.
Why do you say that something in a movie can't happen when the movie shows it happen? You wouldn't need to do this if you just watched the movie.
I can't believe it. I found it.
I can't either, since this stupid place disappeared completely in the last scene, and now it's reappeared for no reason other than to give you hope.
See what I said earlier.
Rube Goldberg, Ex Machina.
But this doesn't instantly resolve Merida's problem, so I wouldn't call this a Deus Ex Machina.
Welcome to the crafty carver. What?
Remember when the witch did this earlier? She went through 3 choices, one ending with, if you're that red-haired girl, use vial 3. But instead of waiting for that, Merida panics and throws all the potions into the cauldron because she's a dick. Also, despite the fact that Merida just screwed herself anyway, couldn't the witch have left a few more vials of number 3, just in case she needed to hear that message again?
Well, why would she leave multiple vials of the same message?
How is that crown still on her damn bear head? Hell, that should have fallen off and gotten lost as soon as she went into bear mode.
Well, it did. This is why Eleanor was shown picking it up and putting it on her head earlier in the movie.
This fire is the exact same fire in the fireplace from earlier.
Yeah, so?
Yep, her mom is still a bear. Just popping in to clarify that continued apparent fact.
Pointing things out on the screen.
The bears even like their fish cooked. I can't imagine why or how or why they would, considering they can't start fires. I know this particular bear used to be human, but is there no bear inside there at all?
Well, not at this moment, but it appears later on when Eleanor starts acting like a real bear.
Mom's full transition to wild bear happened really fast because I just saw a montage of her romping with her human daughter for like 5 minutes. And now this? I thought she had until the second sunrise.
But doesn't this answer the previous sin, and you're just ignoring it?
Rock depicting the story Eleanor told Merida just happens to have a split between the good brothers and the bad brother.
Pointing things out on the screen. Again.
Split. Like the tapestry.
I know! The parallels between that story and your story are crazy similar.
See Sin 147.
Unlikely.
But the movie said it did happen.
Also, can we just go ahead and say the Wisps are the antagonists of this movie? They are not kind, they are not helpful, and they are total assholes.
They are helpful in this movie. The journey they gave Merida helps her change her fate and develop a better relationship with her mother.
I will say that this dude catching an arrow is hilarious. He's the best character in the movie because he's clearly above it all. We'd remove a sin, but the sin is that he's not in it enough.
Another moment of Jeremy sinning something he likes.
Eleanor's bear-like tendencies show up when the plot needs it to. Funny how it didn't happen once while Merida was making her plea to the clans.
So why is this a sin then, since that didn't happen?
Triplet bears Ex Machina.
This isn't a Deus Ex Machina because Hamish, Schubert, and Harris don't abruptly solve the problem that Merida is in.
One of the many talents Merida possesses is sewing while riding on a horse in the rain. We didn't see her honing these skills earlier, but we must assume that she did.
Pointing things out on the screen. Again.
This is the first time the Wisps have ever done anything useful.
Not true. When they led Merida and Eleanor to the ruins of Mordew's castle, it helped them realize that they needed to hurry and fix the spell.
King is a dick to his daughter. I mean, this bear he doesn't realize is his wife is completely restrained right now. Why does he need to violently shove his daughter out of the picture?
To keep her safe, since he's trying to kill Eleanor.
When this movie started, if you'd have told me it was going to end with a human bear and a bear brawling in a rip-off Stonehenge arena, I'd have flipped you off and not even watched this shit. So, sin for you for not telling me that shit before I watched this movie.
You're just saying what you think about the climax of this movie, and I'll be giving this sin my award.
None of these onlookers try to assist in the takedown of Mordew, because they're all little bitches.
Well, they just get knocked back by Mor'du, which you literally showed not too long ago.
The deadline of the second sunrise is apparently set up to be when the light reaches the bottom of these stones, which is some horse.
Are you gonna tell us why, my dude?
You know what I would have enjoyed more? A movie about a strong-willed Scottish princess refusing to get married by parental arrangement that contained no magic mother bears.
See this from the Shrek the Third video.
You changed. Oh, darling. We both have.
Well, no, actually. Merida got everything she wanted without changing a bit.
Nope, Merida grows from being defiant and stubborn to becoming a more open-minded and understanding person. When are you gonna get what characterization is? And here's the end result, everybody. This in total was 195, and the sentence will be being turned into a bear. Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a nice day.